We have a tendency to fixate on only what is in front of our face, on what is obvious. When we go through social media and see other people's lives, we only see the fun and sometimes unrealistic side. We only see the thing that brought the money and the attention. We only see the luck that someone had, fooling us to believe that it's that easy. In other words, we only see the visible signs of opportunity and success. Sadly, we are only looking at an illusion. We can't see the things that truly matter. Those things that allow us to change our lives. Those things that happen inside of us. Those things that are completely invisible. The slow buildup of knowledge and skills, the gradual improvement in work habits, and the ability to grow balls and withstand criticism. The changes we see in people's fortune is just an abstract of all that deep preparation over time. And by ignoring this invisible aspect, we fail to change fundamentally within ourselves. And in a few years' time, we get sick of it. We grow frustrated, we crave change, so we grab at something quick and superficial. And we remain prisoners of these recurring patterns in our lives. The key to transforming ourselves is insanely simple. Reverse this perspective. Stop fixating on the outward appearance of things. Look inward instead. Focus on the foundation for a much larger change of fortune. It is the difference between looking at an illusion and immersing yourself in reality. And reality is what will liberate and transform you. Each of us is fundamentally unique, one of a kind. Our DNA, the wirings in our brain, and our life experiences. This uniqueness was evident when we were young. We felt particularly drawn to certain subjects and activities. In the book titled Mastery by Robert Greene, he refers to this as primal inclinations. We can't really explain why we felt so drawn to particular stories, or to music, or to a particular question about the world around us. And as we get older, we lose contact with these inclinations. We tend to listen to our parents who tell us to follow this or that career path. We listen to our teachers and alcoholic friends who tell us what is cool and what is not. We also listen to junky magazine editors who tell us what we're good and bad at. And at some point, we become a stranger to ourselves, and so we follow paths that are not suited to us emotionally and intellectually. We need to return to those inclinations, to that uniqueness that marked us at birth. We must reflect back and find those things that fire up our brains. We must also look at those activities that we've hated doing. And based on these reflections, we have to determine the direction we must take. It can be writing, music, a form of business, or public service. This exercise will provide a basic framework that we can explore. We have to closely listen to ourselves. Some parts of that framework will not feel right. So we move on, slowly narrowing the path, all the while building up skills. Most people want simple, straight-line paths to success. But we are different. We must welcome wrong turns and mistakes. It makes us aware of our flaws. It widens our experiences and it makes us tough. There are two things that we have to make sure of. Develop a new set of skills for this change and find a way to blend them with our current skills, adding up all our experiences to a rich layer of knowledge that will change us from the inside out. Nothing in this process is ever wasted. If we adopt this internally driven mindset, our direction resonates with us personally and emotionally. The hours of practice and study do not seem so tough. We can sustain our attention and we can sustain our interest much longer. The learning process itself will excite us. We will easily overcome obstacles and increase our skill level. We are immersed in the present and not obsessing over the future. And so we pay greater attention to the work itself and the people around us, developing patience and social intelligence. We will reach a point that we are thoroughly prepared from within and are able to exploit the slightest opportunity that comes our way. In fact, We will draw in opportunities because people will sense how prepared we are. The results of this process have been validated by scientific research. It yielded the very famous 10,000 hour rule. In the 1995 study by Anders Ericsson, people who have devoted years of their life to learning chess or music were observed. They discovered that somewhere near that mark of 10,000 hours of practice, the minds of these people become much more creative and fluid. Their brain structures have been altered by all those hours of practice. And at that 10,000 hour mark, we could see a visible transformation of their performance and creativity. And if we follow this process far enough, we will reach that level naturally and organically. Here is a proposal that is rather radical. Namely, the way to transform ourselves is through our work. This runs counter to our prevailing cultural prejudices. Work is too ugly and too boring. Society has given us this notion that self-transformation comes through a spiritual journey with a fake guru telling us what to do, or with an intense social experience, or sometimes even drugs. But these are just ways of running away from ourselves and relieving our chronic boredom. They are not connected to the process, so any change will not last. Instead, through our work, we can actually connect to who we are. And by committing ourselves to that slow, organic process, we can actually change from the inside out. That's very real and very lasting. This process involves a journey of self-discovery. It can also be seen as quite spiritual if you like. And in the end of this process, we will contribute something unique and meaningful to our culture through our work, which is hardly ugly and boring.